Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, and today we some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 playing a bit of Kill Confirmed here on the map Skyjacked, right around here with the KM44 assault rifle, and that is going to be the gameplay primarily for this week's episode of Dear Nero. We're going to be playing here on the Awakening DLC, the brand new DLC here for Black Ops 3, while we go over the questions for this week's Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel, where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I do and answer them. Chances are, if you're a fan of my channel, you've seen at least one episode of Dear Nero. We are now 181 episodes in, which is insane to me. That's a lot of questions, and that's a lot of answers, and honestly, it's getting to the point where a lot of the questions that are sent to me for Dear Nero on a weekly basis are questions that I've already answered in the past, which is so hard to balance that, because a lot of these questions are coming in from new fans, and new fans haven't seen the old Dear Neros yet, and, you know, fans, of course, come and go with YouTube, and it's hard to balance that. It really is. So occasionally we have some repeat questions, a lot of time we have some new questions, and hopefully you guys all still enjoy the series as we are getting ever closer to 200 episodes. I'm wondering, do we end off Dear Nero with 200? What do you guys think about that? Do we end Dear Nero at 200? Because at a point, there's enough questions that have been asked. At a point, I've answered everything I can, you know. So we'll have to see. I'm considering the idea of ending off Dear Nero at episode 200, but we'll have to see about that. Obviously, with it being a weekly series, episode 200 is a very long ways away. So we're going to have to see between now and then how I feel, how you guys feel, because at the end of the day, it's a community-driven show. I'm definitely always interested to hear you guys' feedback on that stuff. And also, and on the same light of being a community-driven show, we're trying out a new format again this week. This time we're taking questions off of Twitter as compared to taking them from my YouTube inbox like we did for 179 other episodes. Last week was the first time we actually tried Twitter questions. I thought it worked out pretty well. I got to answer a lot more questions. The questions were shorter, therefore I could give fast responses and get through more questions. I thought it was a pretty good format. We're going to be trying it again this week, so hopefully you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of Dear Nero. The first question is going to be coming in from 28 Pags, who asks, thoughts on the Fine Brothers? Also, what is your favorite outdoor activity or indoor sport? Let's start things off here with the Fine Brothers. Now, there's not a lot for me to say that hasn't already been said by every other YouTuber out there, but if you guys don't know, the Fine Brothers are a very popular YouTube channel. They have just under 14 million subs. They had a lot more than that about a week or so ago before they made this video, where they were essentially going to try to claim and copyright the idea of reaction videos. The format of a reaction video on YouTube, they kind of think it's their intellectual property, and they should kind of have their finger in all the pies of every reaction video here on YouTube. So, looking at their channel, this is some of the stuff that they do, because if you guys don't know like the format of their video, they essentially sit somebody down in front of a camera and they record their reaction to something. Some of the most popular videos would be elders react to dubstep, kids react to gay marriage, teens react to bullying, which was involved with the whole Amanda Todd thing, teens react to PewDiePie, YouTubers react to the Knife Game song, or kids react to Neon Cat, or so on and so forth. You get to watch people's reactions to seeing something for the first time, essentially, which is not an original idea whatsoever. And they were going to try to make a network where the only way that you were able to make reaction videos like that would be if you were part of their network and you gave them 40% of your revenue, and just everybody gave them tons of backlash, rightfully so, because they were trying to essentially copyright an entire style of video here on YouTube, which is obviously something people just can't do. You can't just say, this is how I make my videos and no one else can make videos like that. Like, imagine me trying to copyright making videos with Call of Duty in the background. It wouldn't happen. I wasn't the first to do it. I'm not going to be the last to do it. Same thing with reaction videos. So everybody gave them a bunch of backlash as a result of this. So much so that they have just been hemorrhaging thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions, I don't even remember, of subscribers. There's been live streams of these people's sub count just dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. A bunch of YouTubers are making videos about this and talking out against it, because it's a terrible thing. You can't allow this precedent to be set where one channel tries to freaking make a monopoly of a style of video. It isn't going to happen. So obviously they tried to retract their statement. They removed the video. They said they're not going to be starting up that program. Just basically throw it all under the rug, forget this ever happened, and it's almost sad. I almost feel bad for them, but at the same time I don't, because it's like, wow, everybody hates them right now, and that's just an awful place to be, and I don't wish that upon anybody. But at the same time, they were trying to do a pretty evil thing, all things considered, and the reason why they retracted the video, and the reason why they have shut down this whole program, and the reason why they have retracted all of their copyright claims, because they went out and they were just horribly just putting copyright claims on like everybody that did a react video on YouTube, and trying to say that that's their style of video, that's their idea, you can't do that. It was just terrible. And if they were to have been allowed to have set that precedent where that's okay, then who knows what would have happened for YouTube. So obviously they had a lot of backlash. They've retracted all of that, and the worst part about it is, they're saying they're sorry for it, but they're sorry for the wrong reasons. They're not sorry that they were going out there and ruining people's livelihoods by putting copyright claims on videos that they have no right to, or trying to do all that kind of evil stuff. But they're sorry because everyone did a bunch of backlash. If there wasn't backlash to this, they would have, went along with it. They thought it was a great idea at the time, but until all the backlash happened, that's when they decided to actually go ahead and remove all that stuff. So I don't have much else to say about it. It was a pretty evil thing that they were trying to do. It's pretty bad. They've been rightfully hemorrhaging subscribers ever since. And yeah, that is a little bit of justice here on YouTube, I suppose, which you don't see a whole lot of. So that's definitely a good thing. My favorite outdoor activity, I don't have a lot of them, to be honest. I enjoy golfing. There's something about golfing that is really enjoyable for me. I like going outside. I like the fresh cut grass. I like just everything about golfing. I'm terrible at it, but I enjoy golfing. So if I had to pick a favorite outdoor activity, that would probably be one. In terms of indoor sports, I don't do any indoor sports. I mean, the only indoor sport I could think of would be like basketball, but I rarely head down to the Y and play basketball anymore. It's just not something I do too much. Next question is going to be coming from Omar. Which COD campaign and character is your favorite and why? Personally, mine is Modern Warfare 3 and Victor Reznov, just edging Captain Price. Now, Omar, I would say my favorite Call of Duty campaign would be a tie between the Call of Duty 4, World at War, and Modern Warfare 2 campaigns. I think they were all fantastic. If I had to pick, probably World at War because it was World War II. I love World War II, and Victor Reznov would be my favorite character of any Call of Duty campaign because there's just something about Victor Reznov that is just awesome to me, and I really feel as though they didn't do his character justice. I mean, he was there in the original Black Ops, kind of, and then he kind of just disappeared partway through, and then you kind of thought that he was there, and you kind of thought that he was there in Black Ops 2, but it really wasn't. In reality, and this is kind of a spoiler for the Black Ops 2 campaign, which is, how old is that? Victor Reznov's been dead for years. He died when they did the escape from the prison, which was in Black Ops 1, I think. Yeah, I think that's when he died, and every time you see him after that, which is kind of Mason's mind messing with him because of all the brainwashing he had. So Victor Reznov kind of died, and you always kind of wonder, is he really there? Is he still out there? But he isn't. You just kind of think he is. I wish he was still out there somehow. I wish he would somehow appear or something like that. That would be really cool. But yeah, World at War was my favorite campaign, and that game, which a lot of people probably didn't play it. You were playing as a Russian soldier, Dmitry Petrenko, I think his name was. That was the character you were playing as when you were doing the Russian part of the campaigns, and Victor Reznov was your commander. You were basically following him everywhere in the same light that you would follow Captain Price in the Infinity War games. Next question is going to be coming in from Nogan Luberry, who asks, what is the best capture card for under $200? I love your videos, and I've been watching for about 4 years. I love your videos. And Nogan, I can't say for sure what's the best one out there, but I can give you recommendations based upon the capture cards that I have used. I've used the AverMedia Live Gamer HD. I believe that's under $200, and that was a pretty good card, although it didn't do 1080p 60 FPS, which is what I love to have here in my videos. So I ended up upgrading. I went to the Elgato HD 60, which I believe is $160. Now that's a pretty good external capture card. It's pretty nice. Now that's not the card I use anymore. I actually upgrade again to the Elgato HD 60 Pro, which is essentially the exact same capture card, except it's an internal capture card, which means you attach it to your motherboard essentially in your PC, and it makes it so you have zero latency between your recording software and the actual game themselves, which is kind of a little bit of an upgrade for me, because instead of having an Xbox headset, I don't even need that. I just turn on my capture program and I listen through that. I listen to the game audio through my capture program with the headset that I use for my PC, which is the Audio Technica ATH-M50X, I think. Wow, it's weird I actually remember all of that, but yeah, that's the headset I use. So that's a bit of a kind of a niche need, I suppose. I don't like the Xbox headsets or being in chats or anything like that on the Xbox or on the PlayStation, so I prefer listening in through my PC. So that's kind of an advantage, I suppose, of getting the HD 60 Pro, but that's over $200, and it's a very niche need, and it's also good for live streaming and stuff like that. But overall, if you're looking for a good solid capture card that's under $200, the Elgato HD 60 is probably a pretty good one. I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. I know a lot of YouTubers are, but I'm just not one of those people. Next question is going to be coming in here from Andrew, who asks, what is your favorite TV show you ever watched? P.S. I enjoy your videos a lot. So, Andrew, I actually watched a lot of television growing up, but not as much now that I am an adult. Growing up, I watched a lot of Nickelodeon and stuff like that. We didn't have a lot of things growing up. We did have television, though. I didn't have a lot of games, didn't have a lot of toys. I would either play outside, do sports, or watch TV. And so I watched a lot of Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, stuff like that growing up, your typical stuff you'd watch when you were a kid, which can I just say, I'm one of those people. 90s Nick was freaking amazing. I loved a lot of the shows on 90s Nickelodeon. But what do I watch here as an adult? Not a lot, to be perfectly honest. I'm one of those people who, when I get into something, I am super into that thing. You know, look at Call of Duty. Here I am nearly a decade later still playing the series. You know, and same things for television. You know, I started watching like King of the Hill when I was a teenager, and that show, even though it's canceled, they're not making new episodes of it, and it's not even on Netflix anymore, for crying out loud. Netflix, get your stuff together, please. I love that show. I've seen every episode like 3 or 4 times probably. Like, I love King of the Hill. It's hilarious to me. I like a lot of like adult cartoons, if that makes sense, like King of the Hill, The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, Cleveland Show, like all that stuff. Like, I find that stuff to be hilarious. I like watching it, but again, I don't watch a lot of television. Walking Dead is probably the most recent show that has come out that I watch, and I remember the whole story. Like, when I first got into The Walking Dead, I asked you guys on Twitter a couple years ago. This was when Walking Dead was like in its 3rd season or something, and I was like, is this show really that good? Because everyone keeps talking about it, but I know how I am. If I like a show, then I'm just gonna go all out with that show, and it's gonna be like, it's gonna consume me essentially. So I was kind of worried about that. I'm like, is this show gonna do that? Is it going to be a good show? And a lot of you guys on Twitter were like, yeah, it's a great show, definitely just watch the first episode, you'll be hooked. And I did, and I didn't go to sleep that night. I ended up watching like 3 seasons worth of The Walking Dead in one sitting. And yeah, I basically, without ever actually watching an episode of The Walking Dead, I binge watched the first couple of seasons all in one sitting, and I caught myself up with the live show, and I was like watching a new episode as it came out every single week. Like, I get really into stuff if I decide I like something. So, and there's a lot of great TV shows out there, I'm sure. There's a lot of them. A lot of Netflix originals people are talking about, and just a lot of great shows in general. But again, like, I don't want to get into something. I feel as though I barely have enough time to play the games and watch the shows I already do like. The last thing I need is to try and get into some more of them. So if you're looking for like some of my favorite shows, a lot of the adult style cartoons, I guess, which it sounds weird calling it adult, makes it sound like it's porn, but it's not. You know, Family Guy, King of the Hill, The Simpsons, stuff like that, and The Walking Dead are some of my favorite TV shows. The next question is going to be coming in from Cody, who wants to know, what do you want from the next COD game, boosts or feet on the ground? This is a question that I've gotten a ton ever since Advanced Warfare, really. When the exosuits first came out, I was all for exosuits. I'm like, yeah, this feels cool. You know, I can double jump. I get up places so easy. I don't have to climb ladders anymore. I can just fly up there, essentially. And it was new and it was fun. But after a while, I really grew weary of the exosuits, to the point where I just didn't like Advanced Warfare on like the latter half of the game's life cycle, because I was so tired of exosuits. I didn't like how random they made the game. I felt as though it was far too much. So if you were to ask me last year, what would I have preferred, you know, having like boosts or feet on the ground, I would say feet on the ground. I'd say I would have missed that, and I think it would have been better if Advanced Warfare were designed that way rather than designed with exosuits in mind. Fast forward to Black Ops 3, I really like the movement system here in Black Ops 3. I feel as though it's a giant improvement off of exosuits. We're a lot more limited in Black Ops 3 as compared to what we were with Advanced Warfare, and that limitation that we have is good. It makes it so it's not too extreme. You know, when we're playing, it's not just shooting at people constantly flying through the air, people constantly, you know, sliding or running on walls or anything. It just, you occasionally see people that are running on a wall, or you occasionally see people that are jumping. For me personally, I occasionally run on walls. It's not too often. And when I jump, I typically do it to get up into a 2nd story window really quickly, rather than having to run inside and run up the stairs and do all that stuff. You know, it's just nice quality of life improvement, really, is why I feel as though the Black Ops 3 movement system is. And I would like to see that in Infinity Ward's next game. I think it's pretty good. But at the same time, I could go back to boots on the ground. I'm all for that. You know, I've been playing COD for almost a decade, so I am very used to boots on the ground. So if they were to continue on with like a Black Ops 3 style movement system with the next Infinity Ward game, that'd be cool. If it's exosuits, I don't want that. I don't want that nearly as much. I want it to be limited like we have here in Black Ops 3, or boots on the ground with the next Call of Duty game. That's definitely what I would like to see. And yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about that? Because over the course of the past couple of years, you know, people have been, I think their opinions have been changing a bit about, you know, having a new movement system or traditional, you know, boots on the ground Call of Duty. Which one would you guys prefer with Infinity Ward's next game? I would definitely be interested to hear about that. The next question is going to be coming in from Epic Whitebread. What are your thoughts on direct purchase DLC, like in previous CODs, referring to guns, camo, customization, and etc.? Mr. Epic Whitebread, I loved direct purchase DLC in Call of Duty. So if you guys remember, back in Call of Duty Ghosts, I think it was like one of the first times they did it. So the Ripper came out with a DLC, and it was a really good gun in Ghosts. It was a fantastic gun. It was one of my favorite guns to use in that game. And unfortunately, it was tied to a DLC pack. If I wanted to use that gun, I had to have that DLC installed. But later on in the game's life cycle, they made it so you could just do a direct purchase for that weapon. So instead of purchasing the entire DLC with all the maps, you can choose just to purchase that particular weapon. I think it was like $2 or $3 or something like that. And you can just have the weapon without having to have the map pack, which was really awesome in my opinion. I like that system. Call of Duty should embrace that. How cool would it be? And how cool would it be for games in general? Not even just Call of Duty, but every game out there, if you were able to choose what parts of the game you would actually like to buy, therefore making games cheaper for yourself. So for example, when you bought Black Ops 3, how many of you actually play zombies or actually play a campaign compared to the time you put into the multiplayer? Would you have preferred to be able to buy Black Ops 3's multiplayer only for $20? Would you have preferred that rather than paying $60 and then occasionally playing the campaign, occasionally playing zombies? Like, you should be able to pick what you purchase. I think that would be really interesting. You know, if you like the multiplayer and zombies, but maybe not the campaign, maybe they give you a price reduction and make it so the game is only $40. Like, that would be really cool. Now, obviously, this would be a digital sale. Like, I don't think they'd be able to do this stuff as easily with physical versions, because that'd be insane. Like, here's a physical version with only the campaign. Here's only the multiplayer. Here's only the zombies. Here's campaign and multiplayer, but no zombies. Here's zombies and campaign, but no multiplayer. Like, all that stuff. It would just be really odd doing that stuff physically, but digital stuff would work out very well. I think that would be really cool. So I'm hoping they do that. Is that what we have in store for the future of gaming? Is that going to be something that we see as a trend in the future? I hope so, because I think that's a really interesting idea. And I would love to see that come for Black Ops 3 as well. If they do actually give us DLC weapons or DLC specialists, I would like to be able to purchase those things individually, or for everybody to be able to purchase them individually, rather than having to buy a map pack along with it and be forced to play on those maps and so on and so forth. Like, direct purchase is definitely the way to go. It's the best thing for the consumer. The next question is going to be coming in from Bo Allen, who asks, since you're a Browns fan, where do you think Manziel's career is going? I think he'll end up like Tim Tebow. And totally, man. I don't know if this question was actually sent before or after the announcement, but Johnny Manziel is going to be getting released from the Cleveland Browns, and I feel no pity for him whatsoever. He has, pardon my French, he has pissed away his career. He has pissed it away 100%. He had every opportunity in the world. They kept giving him more and more chances, but he kept screwing them up. He just can't stay clean, and he just can't not be getting in trouble for whatever reason. How hard is it to not get in trouble? Like, I feel as though if I had the talent and the commitment to football that Johnny Manziel had, and I did the whole thing, I went to a big university, and I won the Heisman, and I got drafted to the Cleveland Browns, I would be the best player on the team. Not to say I'd be like the best skill player, but I would be the best player for the coaches. Like, what I would do is, after I'm done with my practice, or I'm done doing all my football stuff for the day, I would go home and play video games. That's what I would do. I wouldn't be going out and hanging out with strippers in Austin, or, going and getting in trouble with my girlfriend and punching her and stuff like that. Like, no, I would go home and I'd be playing video games. I would take all that money I'd be earning in the NFL and I would put it towards making the biggest, awesomest house ever with the greatest man cave in the history of the world, so I can further enjoy my video games. Like, I would be like a star citizen in the NFL. Like, people would look at me like, yeah, that's a guy that knows how to handle his stuff. He's never getting in trouble. That's because, yeah, I wouldn't go out. I'd be home playing video games if I wasn't doing football stuff. Like, it'd be so simple. That's all he had to do. Just do that for 5 or 10 years, or however long it is you want to play. Make your millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Then retire. Then go be up your girlfriend. Then go, probably don't do that. Then go out there and hang out with, strippers down in Austin, or go and get drunk all the time every weekend. Like, do all that stuff after your career. Like, he blew it. He had every opportunity in the world. And where do I see him in the future? I think he may get re-signed somewhere else. Maybe some team might pick him up, but who wants all that media attention? Maybe the Raiders. They always like that stuff for some reason. Maybe the Cowboys, a lot of people are talking about, but why would the Cowboys sign him? What is the reason? Is he going to be like the new Tony Romo, the new starter? It could work out. Maybe he goes to Dallas. Maybe Johnny Manziel, works under Tony Romo for a couple of years, and once Tony's finally ready to retire, Johnny steps in, a new man, at the age of like 26 or 27, where he's a lot more mature, and just goes out there and does things for the Cowboys. Maybe that'll happen. That's best case scenario, I think, for him, but that's a long shot if you ask me. If you ask me, Johnny Manziel has pissed away his NFL career, and I don't really feel any empathy for it, because he had so many opportunities. It's not like he messed up once and his whole world started crashing around him. He messed up dozens upon dozens of times. The next and final question is going to be coming in from Jet from Tennessee, who is going to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like your new glasses? And I will say I like my glasses a lot. If you guys want to wear, I now wear glasses. It is definitely an adjustment for me. I was not one of those people who had bad eyesight kind of like from birth, like my brother, for example. He's worn glasses since he was 3. I got glasses for the first time just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm 24 years old. So, I lived my whole life without glasses and pretty good eyesight, but over, the past I don't know, maybe decade or so, my eyesight's been getting worse and worse and worse and worse to the point where it's kind of bad. You know, I can see things pretty well, but I'm incredibly nearsighted, and you know, a lot of things are really blurry at distance, and I would like to be able to see that stuff a little bit better. So I went and got an eye appointment. They determined, yes, you need glasses. I got my prescription all made and whatnot, and now I have glasses, and I like them. The best part is everything is so clear. Like, I forgot just how amazing everything looked. You know, the first day I was wearing glasses, you know, I was playing Black Ops 3 that night, and I was like, holy crap, these camos are really nice looking. Like, everything is so much sharper. It's like going from, you know, 480p to 1080p or something like that in terms of vision. You know, I was looking at Black Ops 3, I was like, holy crap, like, these camos are really nice looking. Like, I thought they looked good before, but now I can notice all the little details, like just how high resolution they are, and it's just like, yeah, this is really cool. And I've noticed that throughout, you know, my everyday life. You know, every time I'm going anywhere, I can just see so much better, and it's amazing. It's really nice. And so if there's any of you guys out there who maybe are having bad eyesight and you're worried about maybe having to get glasses or something like that, don't be. It's not that big an adjustment. I haven't gotten a headache as a result of wearing glasses. I haven't had to adjust my life whatsoever besides I wear glasses. You know, that's just it. So yeah, if you're ever worried about that, you know, don't be. Go get your eyes checked, and if you need glasses, embrace it. Glasses are freaking awesome. I've also gotten the question, will I wear contacts? Heck no. I am not wearing contacts. No, sir. I am not touching my eyeball. Not going to happen. So I will stick with glasses. Thank you very much. If my glasses ever break, I will just hopefully either be able to afford to buy new ones, or I will just go without, because I am not getting contacts. Oh, that sounds horrifying. Because I've heard the stories. Like, apparently, like 99% of the time, you know, putting in a contact is perfectly fine. Then occasionally, you accidentally mess up, and it'll feel like a bee sting in your eye. No, not doing that. Not happening. I'll stick with my glasses. Thank you very much. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Dear Nero. Once again, going along the new format. I know this is a little bit shorter than other episodes of Dear Nero have been in the past, but ultimately, it comes down to, you know, what kind of questions are sent in. And what I talked about at the very beginning of the video, we're almost 200 episodes in now. It's kind of insane how many questions I've answered, and so, you know, a lot of them are repeat questions, or just questions that I've answered or talked about a bazillion times before. So, Dear Nero, by its very nature, sometimes it's going to be longer, sometimes it's going to be short. It just depends on the questions that were sent in that week. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Drop me a rating. If you guys would like to submit your questions for the next episode of Dear Nero, do whatever. I don't care. Send me questions on Twitter. Send me personal messages here on YouTube. Just do whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I will find your questions one way or another. And if I like the question, I will feature it on next week's episode of Dear Nero. Once again, guys, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Drop me a rating. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.